Hi, I'm Missy Wryn. I'm a holistic natural horsemanship trainer. What holistic natural horsemanship is a method of training the whole horse. My specialty has been problem and dangerous horses, and most of the horses that I have received in my training program who were problems and had serious behavior issues typically were in pain, whether it was physical pain or emotional pain. I found that those pain issues needed to be addressed. So I developed a program, Holistic Natural Horsemanship, to address and work with the whole horse. My motto is, problems are not always training issues, and I want to train the whole horse for a safer ride. I'm helping her learn the language. I want to get to the point where I don't have to tap. I'm going to shorten this rope just a little bit so I have a little better control. It's all right. Good girl. Good girl. Out of my space. Oh, are you a little bit excited? Good girl. Good job. Now what I'm noticing is she's left-eyed. Now let me talk to you about that for a moment. And step, we still need to be working on that leading. Yes, we do. Horses are either right-eyed or left-eyed. As humans, we're either right-handed or left-handed. I have found about 85 to 90% of the horses that I work with are left-eyed. So you'll notice that I'm trying to get her to go to the right. She has to see me out of her right eye, but she continues to try to see me out of her left. She's uncomfortable with me being on the right side, so it's more difficult and a little more irrational, her behavior, when I'm asking her to go to the right. So what I need to do is be aware of that, work on that right side 70% of my time. She needs help changing those eyes. And that can happen. It's called an eye changing problem, and every horse pretty much has it. They need to develop that sight in her right side and the confidence in her right side to see me. So I'm going to ask for that again. Get back. I want her out of my space. It's her job to move her feet. Good girl. Now we're going to ask again. And I move into this right side, out of my space. Good girl. She started to want to move into my space, but that's what I have the stick for. What, did you fall down on your foot there? The stick keeps me safe. No, 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 no. Out of my space. Oh, goodness sakes. Goodness sakes, that's not what I want. Out of my space. Oh, goodness gracious. You need to go that way. You need to go that way. No. This way. No. Good girl. Good girl. There you go. Good job. And look at her. No, it's all right. Let me just help her. It's okay. I'm going to get on that right side because she needs to move out of my space. And move out of my space. Good girl. Good girl. A little irrational, but that's all right. Good girl. Much better. She's got to figure out where her feet are. You know, she's kind of clumsy with her feet. Good girl. Come on. Good girl. Oh, much better. Now she's being much more rational, realizing what I'm asking. Out of my space. Good job, Tilly. Good job, Tilly. Good. Now, see, this is where she wanted to break down, was over there. So I just put a little pressure on her to keep going. Good girl. Good girl. She's starting to figure this out. Good job, Tilly. It's all right. And I don't even touch her with it. She's so sensitive. It's just the extension of my hand. Adding a little pressure. I'm very light. Want to keep that nose tipped to me. because she is excitable. Good girl. Now I'm going to do a one rein stop. I'm going to slide and walk over to this girth area. Good girl. And I'm going to just pull that nose and flex. Beautiful. When she gives just like that, I release. Excellent girl. And I want her to think about that. That was big. She really had to work hard. I want her to think about that, so I'm going to stick my fingers in that mouth, get that mouth working, and just love her up for that. You did a great job, Tilly. That was so hard. I know. I'm very proud of you. What a good girl. That was big stuff. My, that was good. Hi, we're back today with Tilly. Tilly's going to be learning yielding hind and forequarters. There's many purposes to yielding hind and forequarters. One of them is brain development. It's important that a horse connects their brain to their feet. You'd be surprised how many horses don't know where their feet are. So with yielding hind and forequarters, she's going to learn today where her feet belong. Yielding forequarters is also going to translate under saddle for side pass and half pass and laterals, as well as turning on the forehand. Yielding hindquarters is going to translate under saddle as a turn on the haunch and disengagement of the hindquarters, which is the final piece to a one rein stop, that emergency handbrake that we've been working on with Tilly throughout this DVD. Yes, sweet girl. She's just checking in. First of all, let's start with disengaging the hindquarters. I think that's the most important. That goes with our one rein stop, our emergency handbrake. So let's begin. Let me turn her for you so you can see how we're going to do this. Good girl. To start with disengaging the hindquarters, I am going to be putting my thumb where my heel would go in the saddle. It's important that we press in the places of our horses that are going to translate under saddle. Not up here, not back here, but right where your heel is going to go when you're asking her to move her hindquarters. And when I say disengagement, I mean this inside foot is going to cross the outside foot, like this. Inside is going to cross the outside. The purpose of getting a horse to disengage is like putting a clutch in the car. When you put the clutch in the car, all the forward impulsion goes out of that transmission. The same with the horse. This is her gas pedal. When I ask her to disengage her hindquarters, she can no longer buck, bolt, or rear. All impulsion, forward motion goes out of that horse. In a one rein stop, I would have that nose tip to the girth, as I've taught her, the safe and loving place, and I'd be asking her to disengage those hindquarters with my heel. So let me show you how to teach your horse this on the ground first. Let's move her so you can get a better view. Step over this way. Good girl. I'm going to tip her nose a little bit. Good girl. And I'm going to put my thumb where my heel would go. Oh, look at that. She did it right off. What a good girl. And as soon as she did it, I rubbed her to a stop. And let's tip over this way. Let's get you to show everybody how you can do this. But I don't want her to move her feet until I've asked. So I'm going to tip that nose again. And I'm going to put that thumb gently where my foot would go. And I'm asking that inside foot, good girl, to step and cross that outside foot. A little stumbly there. Good girl. And I release her nose when she gives softly. What I do on one side, I'm going to do on the other. Obviously, she's doing a pretty good job. And I'll show you how to do this if you have your horse getting their feet kind of stuck and don't want to move. So let me ask her this side. I'm going to tip her nose, and I'm going to ask, and I'm going to kiss to give her a little extra pressure. Good girl. She moves that inside foot. Good girl. As soon as I get that disengagement, I rub that belly so that she stops moving, letting her know she doesn't have to move anymore. I rub that away. My pressure is very light, but let me show you, if she was not to move off, what you can do if your horse is not moving off. Oh, good girl. Nice big sigh. You'd want to tip that nose and have your lead rope in your other hand, so I'm ready to twirl at that bottom if she wasn't to move. So So I'm going to tip that nose. I'm going to put my thumb where my foot would go, and I'm going to ask, and she doesn't give it. I start swinging. Good girl. As soon as she steps, I pull my hand up to the saddle where I flex normally, and I rub her to a stop, and she's soft, and I release. She's doing a really good job today. All this groundwork that we've been doing is certainly paying off.